So let's talk about culprits. What really are the culprits? So we talk about the sugar. So this is talking about how we operate. That we don't connect symptoms with substances. We develop a headache in the afternoon, don't think it's dehydration from not drinking enough water or chocolate, coffee, aspartame, which is equal. We are clueless about the fact that we're having an allergic reaction. We don't treat the problem, we treat the symptom. We take an aspirin. We don't stop and ask ourselves, why do I have this headache? But rather, what can I do to quickly get rid of it? All right, who loves sugar? Do you have sugar every day?
Mostly.
Or do you prefer bread and pasta like flour? Are you doubly blessed, cursed, with loving both of them? Do you have to have a cup of coffee to wake up, or some diet cola?
Or both.
Which is your preference for diet soda?
Coca-Cola.
What is it?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. He said Coca-Cola.
And I forget what it's called. The 0 calorie one. It's Coke Zero.
Okay. Before we continue with this, we need to look at how blood sugar operates in the body. Because after all is said and done, it's your biology. Biology rules. And when we talk about addiction, we talk about a biopsychosocial illness. Biology always rules. The fuel of the body is blood sugar, or blood glucose, means the same thing. Blood sugar is to your body what gasoline is to your car, is the fuel that makes it go. If your car ran out of gasoline, it would sputter, cough, come to a stop. If you ran out of blood sugar, you would soon go into coma and die. But our bodies have a built-in mechanism to prevent that from happening, a great cost to our health, and we ignore good nutrition. Your body, everything that is sort of below your neck, is a symphony, is an orchestration, is something amazing. Your body is amazing. I call it our earth suit. And we came into the world with this earth suit, given the responsibility to be good shepherds to your earth suit. But we've been educated by the food industry, and I don't think anybody in this room has been a good shepherd. So every cell in the body depends on blood sugar for energy to stay alive and perform its function. Without a steady supply of blood sugar, your brain couldn't think, your heart couldn't beat, your feet couldn't walk. When we eat, proteins, carbs, and fats are digested, broken down to smaller parts. Once broken down, these parts will affect blood sugar differently depending on how they're absorbed and how the body uses them. Almost all carbs eaten and a portion of protein and fat will be converted into a simple sugar called glucose, the body's energy source, and transported into the bloodstream. The process is called glucose metabolism. The only carb not changed are those that cannot be broken down, and that's fiber. And we need fiber. So right after a meal, the body's glucose levels rise. You know, after you have a meal, you feel energized before you go to sleep. You feel energized. Response to the elevated blood glucose levels, the pancreas, an organ located behind the stomach, releases the hormone insulin. Insulin regulates the uptake of glucose into the cells. It takes the glucose from the bloodstream, lowering the blood glucose levels, and sends them to the cells. So I see it like a trucking company. And the pancreas sends out these little trucks, goes into the bloodstream, takes out the glucose to park them around different cells in the body. Each cell requires, it has receptors on them. The receptors are insulin receptors. And what they do is they invite the insulin to bring in the fuel of the glucose. That is glucose metabolism. So it takes the glucose from the bloodstream, and so glucose becomes available to the cells to be metabolized into energy. Cells need glucose, have specific insulin receptors on their surface so that insulin can bind to them, encouraging glucose entry and utilization into the cells. Not me, because I've been in recovery for a long time, but many of you have a disruption and have a disturbance in this process. It's been damaged. Does anybody know a diabetic? So what can happen to a diabetic, which way, if their levels of glucose just spike?
Diabetic shock.
Shock? What else?
Swallowing feet or something?
Seizure?
Oh,
How about a heart attack?
yeah.
Coma? Bye-bye. That's the danger of diabetes.
I've known that people that are diabetic and they've lost limbs because of it. And they've had to
Circulation,
circulation.
eyesight. But there are people who have diabetes who believe, because of medication now, and the major medication for diabetes is metformin. Well, I don't know how to manage my eating. I don't have to have stabilized blood sugar and be careful and follow a plan of eating. I'm getting away with it with the medication.
I am diabetic, and that's one of the medications I was taking, but I no longer take that because it was through eating better and actual exercise that my A1C levels have been stabilized at around 5.5.
Good.
When before it was at like a 7.4.
So I will share with you a very big secret. Maybe you've heard me reveal it before. The food plan that we talk about that stabilizes blood sugar levels, the one that Stacy is beginning to follow now, is basically a diabetic food plan. The whole idea of this machine, this amazing machine, this whole symphony, is to fuel it properly at the right time with the right amount of fuel. The medication is not the answer. It doesn't do that. Eventually, the body breaks down. So, we talked about what happens if a diabetic when they have too high levels of blood glucose. Shock, seizure, stroke, I left that one out. Heart attack, bye-bye. Yeah, looking at death. It's that serious. And it is that serious that eating should be in a way that stabilizes blood sugar. Everybody. Regardless of what Kellogg is telling us. Regardless of what Carvel is telling us. Because, all right, we're going to see the opposite for this whole orchestration. So if blood sugar rise unrestricted, the result is first feeling good, then hyperactive, then irritability, agitation, anger, anxiety, drowsiness, stupor, coma, death.
Bye-bye.
So we have a pancreas as the organ responsible for maintaining even levels of glucose in our bloodstream given normal, healthy conditions. I don't know, I believe some of you see the psychiatrist or the nurse practitioner to deal with some issues of mood and brain function. If blood sugar is all over the place, you will be having irritability, mood swings, depression, agitation. It's not from your, it's not from here. It's from the blood sugar. And so the first thing before you really take medication, psych medication for mood, should be the normalization of your eating. It's only logical. And then, once you're eating in a way that stabilizes blood sugar, which would eliminate any mood issues that came from the food, then if there's resulting mood issues, that then makes you a candidate for proper medication, for psych medication. Not until the food is straight. Does that make sense? So what's a good breakfast for an addict?
Meat, vegetables.
So this one has, as an idea, a donut, bagel, cold cereal, orange juice. Well, cold cereal has to have sugar on it. You can't just have cold cereal with milk. Pancakes with syrup, fruit-only pizza. Did you ever eat cold Chinese food that left over from the night before?
Yeah.
So Chinese food notorious for having high levels of sugar, right? So in this instance, if this kind of a breakfast or a little candy bar, your blood sugar starts to rise. Blood glucose is spiking. So the pancreas is saying, oh, I better get to work here. I better start pumping out some insulin to get this body safe, because it could go into a danger zone with the sugar spiking, the blood glucose spiking. It can go into danger zone of seizure, shock, heart attack, and so on. So it's
lived with diabetes for a while.
I'm sorry?
I just got diagnosed with diabetes. That kind of stuff that you're talking about, I don't need to worry about now, but maybe later on in life. Can you get a stroke or whatever, die now when you're newly diagnosed versus later on in life?
So at what point are you going to pull the plug? Are you going to say, I better start paying attention to this? So what's your timeline? Because you say later on, then...
You know, a couple of 10 years from now.
Oh.
I missed that. 8 years they were telling me that.
I had my pancreas taken out. So am I in danger? Because usually my doctor says I'm too skinny to be diabetic, and I'm like, well, I have every single one of the symptoms. So how is that possible? But maybe it's my missing pancreas. I had a surgery and they took out my pancreas, yeah. So, I don't know. Oh, this food is making me hungry.
So are you on any medication?
Right now, yeah, a lot.
So, if you don't have to worry about it for 10 years, be fine with the food. Eat anything that you want. Except the timeline is going to get closer. it may start being 9 years, then 8 years, then 7 years. We're amazing when we're not really ready. The concept or the condition of, is it denial? Or we can just ignore things. We're so powerful in that way. We'll ignore it so it's not there. Meanwhile, it's doing its thing because our biology goes despite our biology functions despite our ignorance, despite our desire to override it. You can't override your biology. So in this instance, with this person who does have a pancreas, who's the pancreas now was, oh, I better get to work because I see blood sugar spiking. I'm going to pump out the insulin that I'm able to do, and send the glucose plummeting because this is an emergency operation. It's spiking. I'm going to pump out an extraordinary amount of insulin. So now I've overridden the right amount because it was an emergency. And so the next thing this person starts to experience is a crash. You all know what crash is. It's an energy drain, and you want to fight it. You can't fight it because it's your biology. So your energy drain is just bringing you down, and you're irritable, and you can yell at somebody who you would normally never think of yelling at or being angry at. You're sleepy. You want to take a nap. Maybe anxiety, headache. You're lightheaded. Certainly you're in craving. It's hunger, but it's actually craving. Depressed. Oh, I better go to the psych nurse or the psychiatrist. I'll get medication for my depression. Because they're not asking, what do you eat for breakfast? Fogginess, maybe making some decisions during a crash did not work out as the best decisions because the brain is not functioning optimally to make good decisions. Maybe you can relate that to something in your life where you did something that you, in reflection, it was really stupid. Like, why did I do that? What was wrong with me? How could I think that? And you got into trouble, but you can't explain it. Blood sugar. So you run out because it's during the day, you're in crash, you got things to do, you have to stay awake to listen to Dianne or to go to some other group. And you need toothpicks to keep your eyes open because all you wanted, maybe you had this experience in school, during a class, and all you wanted, your eyes were just closing. I can't do that. They're going to yell at me. They're going to see me. My God. Maybe this goes way back to when you were really young. So if you have the opportunity, you can run out and go get something. You're going to get another candy bar or coffee or a soda or a juice, something that is sugary to get your blood sugar back up again.